here's a quick sidebar for those sitting at home. At one particular event, the week that I met Barb and Executive Core,
improv.
We did improv because
you're a shoo-in, by the way.
They were, here was the genius idea. This was flawed. We're definitely putting this in here. This was flawed and brilliant at the same time because
there's drinking involved. It was Notre Dame.
They boozed us up a little bit and they were trying to, here's what happened. What had happened was they stuck 40 strangers, all probably average age 35, maybe 40. Actually, it might have been a little higher, the average age, but it's the executive graduate business program. They decided it was a good idea to do an orientation for a week in the middle of January in the Rust Belt.
Hey, I loved that week. That was my favorite week in January.
Let me tell you, I did.
I had winter boots.
You did, and they drove you around in a golf cart.
They did drive
across the whole campus. The rest of us had to walk.
I was a professor, so
it was a brilliant. So Barb's company is hired. Executive Core comes in to run executive and equal leadership. We're talking about all the languages of influence. We're talking about psychological safety. We are sharing. We're core dumping. We're doing surveys. We're getting the feedback. We're learning. We're going to talk about the assessments in this program. We're going to tell you what all of them are, by the way, and how to use them. So we're going to get to that soon. But one of the ways that we broke the ice was to go to essentially an attic of an old gymnasium where there was an open bar. About 30 minutes into that experience, they said, by the way, we're doing a group exercise. And we thought, oh, great. And they stuck some coaches from Second City in the middle of the room.
Really? Actors
from Second City.
From Second City,
and we're all from Chicago, so we're thinking like, oh, we know how this goes. It's going to be another weird corporate thing, blah, 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 organized fun.
Well, weird corporate things can actually be fun.
Well, we were so raunchy and so into it.
Oh, yeah, I think your class was a little bit in trouble.
We scared the they had to go consult with the administration at the university if they wanted to continue doing the exercise. So,
I think we stopped offering alcohol after your class.
We were just having a blast. And, but yeah, that was my first, it was interesting, Barb, because it blew open the idea that you could build rapport quickly. You could meet new people and have an instant connection and then be responsible for delivering something as a result of.
The biggest takeaway that we wanted classes to have, because the class was executive integral leadership. And to think holistically, you have to embrace all perspectives.
Yes.
So the main reason we would bring this group in was to emphasize the yes and thinking.
Yes.
How many times have you been in a meeting and somebody says, no, we can't do that? Or, but, we don't have the money.
Yeah.
Or, no, we don't have the talent right now.
Right.
When you embrace yes and, you keep people enthusiastically participating.
They're bought in.
Yeah, they're bought in, but they actually produce an outcome that is fun. People are having an enjoyable experience, which is one of the hallmarks of psychological safety.
Yeah.
And they produce something that they never thought was possible.
Well, that was the magic for me, that was a tool that I never thought could be applicable to business. Or I was working for a very large, you know who it was, very, very large, very old conservative organization, very siloed. Everyone loved things done the way that they had always been done. And it was very comfortable as a result of that. But what was uncomfortable is mandates from up top, which were trying to drive innovative programs and new innovative teams, which is where I was sitting. So we were always coming up against no. Or we just don't do that, or that's not part of our framework. It's not part of our strategic plans, and sometimes the conversation would have to be, yes, it's not, which doesn't make any grammatical sense, but it also is now a mandate, so perhaps they didn't have the luxury of planning, but guess what? The board and the CEO said, we're moving this direction now. Everyone get on board,
I have a Fortune 100 company that has been struggling for the last 5 years financially. And they're so important in the products and services that they deliver. internationally, they have such silos in how they've structured their business. And they have people who have worked for the company who have been there a long time who don't want to change.
Yeah.
One of the metaphors that we often use in our work is to be above the line, not below the line.
And that comes across in some of these surveys we're going to talk about too.
Just to go back to your story with improv, you're above the line because you're positive. People take a role in improv.
Right.
They interact with their stakeholders. They don't shut anybody down.
Right.
They know what the output will be.
Yeah.
And they create a really fun culture where people can collaborate. And they even start partnering with some of the other groups.
Right. The teams did get together. We created whole new scenarios.
Yeah.
New products.
And when an organization can't do that, when they say no so often, or they say we have so much technology debt, that's just not possible.
Right.
You see this ripple effect where they start to have customer churn.
Yeah. Yep.
And they have customer churn because
we did. We had a membership problem. It was a major, major issue. And it was, which was also why we were being mandated to innovate.
Yeah.
That was the exact reason why.
So they tell you that they want change, and then they resist change at the same time.
Yeah.
And so what I want to say to anybody who might be listening to this, I've worked with other organizations where change doesn't start at the top.
Yeah.
You know, there are so many people at the top that maybe you're in a fear space. They want to be really conservative, but there is a grassroots group of people. They get their team aligned and excited.
Yep.
They start getting other teams aligned and excited. And they get so much momentum that they get some success stories that the executive leadership team can't ignore. And there's a metric I give a lot of my clients, especially when they feel like they're in a hopeless situation. And I tell them, okay, get a win that is so interesting that your senior leaders want to tell it at a board meeting. And if what your team is doing gets talked about at a board meeting, you're in the zone.
So this is so interesting because on two levels, I want to address two things here. One, what we're also talking about is a way to, because let's think about it as an individual. Let's back down all the way intrapersonally. I am struggling in this organization, in this organization, right? I'm unable to collaborate. The answer is always no. I'm not heard. It's, me, I, but those words matter. And at a certain point, it can erode your confidence. It can erode the other important languages of influence that are not toxic, that are not unethical, that are coalition building. My ability to go get consultation is now, I don't have the confidence to do that. So if I'm in that place, and this is what you're talking about, really starting with you as an individual not only gives you the armor and the thick skin, if you will, it gives you a little bit of a power up so that you have some more tools to reassess the situation. Because you
need resilience.
Yes.
And if I can be so bold, you need to be a little stubborn.
Yeah.
If first you don't succeed, try something different. And
but now you have a framework and a frame of reference, because if it's not coming from the top, it has to come from you first. And then from there, I'm assuming if we can educate and give enough of the tool set to the individuals in the front line who are experiencing the hell that it can be, then conceivably speaking, that's when we can start to see the ripple effect, educate the larger teams, build more coalition, and do exactly what you said.
And one thing I wanted to
get noticed.
I wanted to pull up here. I can help you increase the chances that you are heard. I talked earlier in the podcast about starting with a shared goal. But when you're trying to convince senior leaders who tell you that they want you to innovate, but then they're pushing back, and they're pushing back on change, you may not have hit one of their hot buttons.
Okay.
And so I always tell people to understand what your CEO's mandate is from the board.
Well, this is important because what we're talking about is strategic alignment from the top of the house to the bottom of the house, and we're talking about getting buy-in as well. I'm assuming,
Yeah.
And if you're not consulted to get the buy-in, at the very least, you can help yourself get there because now you have the information, right?
So let me give you your list.
Yeah.
If you keep getting no,
Yeah.
then start with any of the following. We want more profitable growth.
Mm-hmm.
We want sound capital and operating plans.
Mm.
We want a culture of integrity. We have to manage the risk profile across disciplines.
Yeah.
We need succession plans so we have a pipeline of talent.
Yes.
We need to create an enjoyable atmosphere so that we're a great place to work. We need to complete our strategic initiatives, get wins on the wall. We need to increase our market share. We need to improve our overall customer experience. We need to differentiate ourselves over our competition.
Yeah.
And we need to create great experience for our suppliers.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, we need to partner with entities that can help lift our organizations up. And we also need to be good stewards in our community. Any of those, start with any of those. That's like the basic CEO mandate.
This is what they're hearing from the board, just to be clear.
Yeah,
so that everyone understands.
Well,
this is a board
every CEO
mandate.
gets a report card from their board.
Right.
You
Right.
think your CEO doesn't get a performance review, but
Well,
they
of
get a
course they do.
performance review just like everybody
Of
else.
course they do. Yeah.
And those are the types of things that are on their performance review.
It's brilliant. So it starts with me
Yep.
first, and incidentally also gives me the resilience I need, hopefully,
Yeah.
and some comfort to know that there's a system to this.
Yeah. It's
Then-
not rocket science.
It's not. And then as a leader,
It is job security for me, though.
it's right. Well,
When organizations get stuck,
yeah,
somebody called me Mary Poppins recently,
you just
or
do
Nanny
improv.
McPhee.
I love it.
Yeah. When you need me, I'm there.
Yeah.
When you want me, but don't need me any longer, I'm out of there.
We just do a little improv and the world will be better.
Yeah.
That's it.